The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on January 23rd, 2024.
It's time now for Business Matters, brought to you by Mokulele Airlines. Now here's your host, Pam Toompop. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, good morning, Gary. How are you this morning?
Very good. And how about yourself?
Oh, excellent. Thank you. It's going to be a great day. Well, thank you for all you do for the show. I just want to welcome everybody to Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce and sponsored by Mokulele Airlines. We are thrilled this morning to have Daly of the MEO Small Business Development Center join us this morning to talk about their programs, as well as returning guest Hazel Beck, who is the Deputy District Director of the Small Business Administration this morning. So it's going to be a fun day as we talk all things small business. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about David. He is the MEO Small Business Development Center, known as the BDC Director since 2016. His background includes being a small business owner, both on Maui and in California. He has a background in both finance and lending as a residential loan officer for a local Maui firm, and is a licensed financial advisor for Edward Jones. David was the recipient of the 2017 Small Business Administration's Award for Small Business Advocate for Minorities in Maui County. As director of Maui Economic Opportunities Business Development Center, David and his team provide small business education, one-on-one technical assistance, and microlending to entrepreneurs in Maui County. He is a great partner to the Chamber and in our community, and has helped so many small businesses. So good morning, David. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you back on.
I'm pleasure to be here to get the day started. We had a quick chat. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love my Tuesday mornings. It's great to start getting the day started with positive and exciting news. So,
Exactly.
For those who are unfamiliar with the Business Development Center, can you share a little bit? We talked a little bit in your intro about the primary focus, but can you kind of talk about what it looks like every day and how you're helping each and every day?
Sure. Really in a nutshell, MEO's Business Development Center is I call it everything, all things small business. So we really are a resource for someone who is looking to get into business, as well as those small businesses that are active but need some support, either through one-on-one consulting or through microlending. So we try and touch the full range of people coming into business and those who are currently in business, and helping them, give them the support to continue on.
Well, and especially now, this is so important. I know we saw through COVID so many new entrepreneurs emerge. Right now we have so many businesses that need to pivot. But for those who are just getting started, you have this amazing Core 4 course that has had tremendous success over the years. Can you talk about how that course really helps newbies interested in business ownership get started and create success?
Yeah, it's I'm a true fan of the course. I've been teaching the course for the last 11 years, and that the real foundation of the course is it allows someone to come into this 5-week program. It's about 24 to 26 hours, and take a conceptual idea and basically put it down on paper and turn that into a working business plan for this project, this business that they are, in the thought process of putting together. That to me is really the beauty of it. It forces, or it allows the person to, who has never been a small owner, who's never been self-employed, to go through the steps of what's actually needed to kind of create a roadmap for how this business is going to operate and who's going to do what and where it's going to be, and the potential for profit and revenue for the business. So it really covers a lot of bases. At the end of the day, it provides them like I said, a roadmap, which really gives them the impetus to move forward, knowing that there's a reasonable chance of success.
I think I love that you say that, because I know that in some cases it's also really helped people say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I'm not ready, or this concept isn't ready yet too.
Absolutely. That comes up. That's a success for the course as well, is allowing someone to go through the process of putting information together and finding out whether it will work or not work, and sometimes seeing that it's going to work the way that they want it to work, is a huge time savings, money savings, eye opener. So it allows them to sort of reset, and they have no knowledge of what they're going to need to have a successful business, and they can kind of make a move or a pivot from that point forward.
Yeah, I really love that. One of the things about the program is, you have jettisoned so many people forward, but I've also heard stories where they realize, whoa, this is, like you said, it could be for a variety of reasons. Either they're not ready, or the plan needs more thinking, or they need to do some more market research. But I love, again, that you said that that's a success, because the amount of time and money that goes into starting up a business is tremendous. And yeah, you save a lot of people money and help them see different avenues too.
Exactly. That's one of the things that I tell them, first night of class, every time, is that it's okay to go through the whole course and get to the end where you're able to kind of make a decision on whether this is going to sink or swim, to go, okay, I'm pulling the plug on this because it just doesn't look like it's going to work. People don't realize that getting into business, even at the very rudimentary level of just being a legal business entity, costs somewhere in the neighborhood of probably close to $1,000, and they haven't even started their business yet. So it's not, it's something that people want to jump into because they have different reasons for motivation on why they want to do it. But at the end of the day, they're responsible for everything. So it just gives them the power to really make that decision.
Yeah, no, it really is a tremendous help. However it works out, it's such a valuable program. How much is it for people to go through it? And do you have anything coming up in the near future?
Yeah, the course itself is only $75, and that includes the workbook. That's for the whole 5 weeks. And they can attend either in person or virtually. So we stream every class live. Every class is recorded for viewing of those students who are in the class to, kind of get back up to speed or want to listen to something a little bit extra in a certain section. And we do these courses 6 times a year. So we're in our first series of 24. This will run through probably February, and then we do this again another 5 times. So the next course coming up would be the beginning of March.
That's awesome. $75, folks. This is a bargain.
Yeah, exactly.
This is such a bargain for anybody thinking about going into business. First of all,
and there's also financial aid.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Pam. There's financial aid for those people who truly are in a position where $75 is just not that's not an option at this point. So provide financial aid for those.
That's awesome. Well, I was going to say, really also, if $75 is an obstacle, it's great that you can get financial assistance, because that'll help you work through what your concept is. But if $75 is an obstacle, David said, just to run a legal business, you're looking at least $1,000. So that alone should tell you, okay, wait a minute, but do apply for the financial assistance, because we want you to get the course. That's what's critical. And it'll help you, and it'll help you create a plan for the long term. And I know some people have taken it more than once as well. So they've taken it, and then they weren't quite ready, and they've taken it again to move forward.
Absolutely. And heard through years is out on people just in their daily personal lives and the employment that they're currently in, just touching different aspects of knowledge that they now have that they didn't have before. So they look at things a little bit differently, and there are aspects of our personal life as far as financial structure that we can always be better at.
Yeah, that's so true. You also have the micro-lending program, and I know that there are different types of funding that you're able to do. This is so critical right now because, as you know, we have so many people impacted by the wildfires very directly, and then others not directly impacted but indirectly impacted. And they already have EIDL loans. Through EIDL loans, they're the I'm drawing the blank now. The emergency disaster loans that the SBA offers, and they don't want to take on more debt, but they need to, in some cases, take on more debt or look for other programs. Can you tell us about your micro-lending program? Are you able to build in micro-lending programs if they have an existing EIDL loan? And how, is that occurring in your realm right now, where people are not ready for another SBA loan but coming to you? And the amounts that people can apply for through the micro-lending program?
Sure. So our micro-lending program really was structured and designed for a big business or someone going into business who technically unbankable. So they're just not able to find funding at a reasonable rate anywhere else. The microloan program goes up to $25,000. And like I said, it's really structured for a startup application, but we have a number of loan clients who had existing businesses that fell into that situation where they were unable to find any other financing that really made sense without going into what I call predatory lending. That really becomes almost an undoable burden for any individual or business to get into it. But the program has helped, hundreds of businesses. It's been in existence at MEO for the last 25 years. And like I said, it's really structured. I wouldn't say a Band-Aid, but it's really kind of a building platform to get someone to that point of a business that just needs that little boost of influx of money, because $25,000 in the scheme of things is not a lot of money. But to that business right then, that may be the lifeline that they need. So it's not a credit-based lending platform, so we're not looking at a particular score. But we do look holistically really at the whole business and the person as well to make sure that it's a good fit and it's beneficial to the business and to them personally, that they're not being put in a position that, is literally a sink or swim. That's really not our goal.
Yeah, that is really important. And I think that right now for a lot of folks, especially those who have been impacted by the wildfires, you reach out to MEO, learn about the program, see if they can help you I know in some cases that people have been applying, even those who have been applying to the SBA are finding that they're getting turned down. And it's because the SBA, for one reason or another, has determined that they don't see their ability to repay the loan. So it's a real challenge we're finding right now in the community. And so this is such a great tool to have on island with folks who understand what it takes to be in business. And again, not based on your credit rating, looking at other ways to help you. And I'm really excited about this because this is one of those ways to help. The number one question we're getting right now at the Chamber of Commerce is, where can we find additional funding? And what are some of the other options when the standard options they were hoping to get just are not available to them at the moment? So
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about what you folks have seen through the BDC since the wildfires.
That's pretty much everything, but the largest component of small businesses out there, or every business really, is there was an effect to pretty much every business. I don't think any business was untouched by the tragedy of the wildfires. Obviously businesses in Lahaina that were physically damaged, that lost equipment and places of business and that sort of thing. But the overall reach that goes, far beyond that to a business who, had a lot of customer base from, that might have been in Wailuku, that had a great customer base from West Maui specifically. It really affected every business was touched, and we are doing everything we can to provide, resources and avenues for businesses to look at different ways, different things of how the business can operate to, have it make sense and go forward.
Yeah. We are experiencing the same, and I appreciate you sharing that, because it's been it's like COVID for a lot of our businesses in terms of the slowdown of our visitors and also much worse. We've had devastation at home. There's so many people impacted. We're rushing to care for all of those who need services and help, and trying to find ways to rebuild as we still watch challenges with housing and getting businesses back up and open full time again, and employees unable to come to work when they're still housing insecure. So it's been a wild ride.
Yes, definitely. And, everyone is, even if people who are not, obviously the whole island population is affected some way, somehow by that tragedy. I do want to touch on one small, well, it's actually a big thing, is that we are actually helping the county administer this small business bridge grant, which basically is grant funding for businesses that were indirectly or directly affected. And there's two entities. There's MEO and there's MEDB, which is Maui Economic Development Board. We're both administering grant funding for businesses that is based off of their previous year's gross revenue. So it's not a net situation. It's how much the business made puts them into a certain tier of an award. And for MEO, we go up to $10,000. So we literally have done a grant as small as $500 to a business, and we've done $10,000 grants to a business. So that's ongoing. That's going to continue. There are still funds available in our section, and our section being businesses that grossed $300,000 and under. So smaller mom and pop businesses, anywhere you see the gambit of a business that's, operating as a swap meet that might make $25,000 or $30,000 a year, and you see a business that's a full-fledged retail location that's making $300,000 a year. So there's that assistance available, and I know that it's a nominal amount of money, but it can be beneficial just to allow a little bit of a reprieve for some expenses going forward that the business would normally have to incur, that they get a little break from it. So that's been a huge focus of what we've been doing the last, I would say, 3 months.
Yeah, it's very important work. My understanding is MEDB is out of money at this point. Is that your understanding?
That is correct. I believe they're out of money, and don't quote me on this, but I believe the larger tiered businesses, so those businesses that grossed over $600,000, they were all eligible for larger $20,000 awards. I believe that funding is no longer available, and there is a wait list that they have for businesses that apply, or those who had applied and were not able to receive. They were on a wait list. But for the tier between 300 and 600, I don't know whether they have capped out on their funding in that particular tier yet.
Okay. Yeah, and it was, I know too, some of the things, we've heard a lot of people who had applied for different things up to the 20, and I know at one point there was a lot of people who had kind of gotten 12.5 as they were spreading some of the money around to try and help as many as they could. So it has helped a number of people, and then people who had applied for more, in some cases, had to revise their plans. But do check with, and by MEDB, if you're not familiar with that acronym, MEDB is Maui Economic Development Board. Do check with them, because we have heard that they, are taking people on a waiting list. And so, and also check to see if there's any gap funding, for those in between the 300,000 to 600,000. Ask them about that if you're in that realm and could use that help. We have many people who can use that help. And I always say apply, it takes some time to apply, but the applications have been streamlined. They know this is an emergency situation. Take the time to apply, because even if it alleviates some of your payroll for a little bit, or rent, or, offsets your utilities for a period of time, even if it doesn't help you get to sort of your big pivot project, definitely just look into it. It is a relief effort. And many people are getting that money, and have been thrilled to say, hey, they did get some help through this. And that's the biggest thing, is people are looking for more help as they are trying to maneuver in this time. As David said, everybody's impacted, and we don't know how long this is going to go. So any help you can get is worth that, because it bridges you a little bit further. And so please look into those different programs. David, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, how they can get assistance, how they can learn more about the financial literacy workshops, and everything you offer.
Obviously, well, first and foremost, we have a which is in our property off of Maui Street. We take walk-in clients there. But our website has a fair amount of information, so that's meoinc.org to visit that, and as well as our program, the Business Development Center. It has information, email contact information about the business grants, the Corp 4, and you're more than welcome to us directly and that number is 8249-2990, and that will get you to our front office. It will direct your call to myself or one of my team, and we are very fortunate because we really cover all of Maui County. So we're not only we're helping on Lanai, and we have an individual who is full-time on the island of Molokai as well. So we are truly Maui County business development.
Yes, you are, and I know you are one of those hardworking people who works tirelessly to help our community, and we thank you for all that MEO does and all that you do as a BDC and you do personally. You are truly committed to the work that you do, and are such a great asset for our community, and we appreciate you sharing all these efforts to the best we can in this short time frame. We could go on for days, folks, but appreciate you being on today, David, and being on the show.
Always a pleasure, Pam. And likewise on right back at you on the support that the Chamber gives to small businesses is invaluable, and the resource has been there. We are great partners in business development and support of small business. So you as well here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I hope you have a beautiful Maui day, and we'll have you back on again so we can get an update in a few months.
Perfect. Look forward to it. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, David. Aloha. We are going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, Hazel Beck. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines, and then we are going to bring on Hazel Beck of the SBA, so we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. Visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal.
Welcome back, Pam. You know, that was a good interview with David. I was lucky enough to take that class with Susie Tiemann.
Yeah. Oh, were you? That's awesome.
And I learned.
Susie ran it years ago.
Yes, and I learned, like he said, you don't always have to open a business. I learned that I don't want to be my own business, so I consider that a success.
Gary, it really is. And often, sometimes it's just about somebody has an idea, but this class shows them there's so much more they need to think about before they're ready to invest their money. And because when you own a business, it really, especially for people who were used to getting a salary and then want to switch over, that has such an impact on the family income dynamic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so we want to make sure that they're really ready for that and understand what it's going to take. And so it is a success when people say, hey, you know what, maybe I'm not quite ready yet. Or
I don't want to do it at all.
Yeah, or maybe I don't want to do it at all. Or maybe this idea is just going to take some more time, and I'm going to keep working on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's good for you.
Okay, so I'm going to give Hazel a quick call while you introduce her real quick.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So coming on next is Hazel Beck, and Hazel Beck is the Deputy District Director of the SBA, Small Business Administration's Hawaii District Office. Now, here's the thing about the Hawaii District Office. Not only do they represent the state of Hawaii, the territories of Guam and American Samoa, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, the Republic of Palau, and the Republic of the Marshall Islands. So this district has a very broad reach. And Hazel is on to tell us about some of the EIDL program stats. We've been talking a little bit this morning about the EIDL program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, which I was struggling to remember all of that a little bit earlier, and kind of where they're at and some of the programs that the SBA is doing with regional resources and how they're delivering services in this time of great need. So, Hazel, are you on?
I am indeed. Good morning, everyone. Aloha.
Aloha. Good morning. So glad to have you on. I just want to say, Hazel, in all the years that we have been working with the SBA, you and your team have been on Maui, boots on the ground from the day you took office, with more on-island presence for us to access SBA resources than I have seen in the I think 15 years of being with the Chamber prior to meeting you and getting the pleasure of working with you to help businesses.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words, Pam. We work really, really hard. We have a large territory to cover, and the team works really hard to make sure that we go where we can do the most to assist. And at this particular moment in time, clearly that's the island of Maui.
We so appreciate that. I know it's a strong focus for you, and you have been working every day to help us get through hiccups and advanced thinking and planning on how we can continue to serve. Let's talk about, that takes me kind of right to the EIDL, E-I-D-L, Economic Injury Disaster Loans that are available through this wildfire, through the wildfire tragedy, and working to help not only businesses, but you have home loans. So can you talk about the different EIDL loans and what are the stats looking like these days? And what are some of the things that you're hearing about the different loan options?
Sure, Pam, be happy to. First of all, I can give you the stats. These are the stats as of January 8th. Applications received by the SBA for the home property damages to home, and this includes renters as well. So far, 1,115 loans have been approved. On the business side, the small business side with the EIDL loan, 601 loans have been approved. There is a deadline coming up this week. Hawaii residents have and businesses have until January 25th to submit SBA federal disaster loan applications for property damage. So this particularly pertains to the homeowners and renters that was caused by the wildfires in Maui. However, the economic injury disaster loan has a much longer runway for application because it takes the businesses a while to be able to see how they have been economically injured in this disaster. So the deadline for applying for the economic injury disaster loan, the EIDL loan, is May 10th of 2024. We also have various business recovery centers and disaster loan operations centers. So probably the most comprehensive one is the Disaster Recovery Center at the Lahaina Civic Center. So in addition to the SBA, they're all the way to the back of the gymnasium there. The SBA disaster team is back there. FEMA's on the ground there, plus a number of community resource partners and stakeholders that are all interested in helping those that have been impacted by this disaster. So that's one place for assistance. The Maui Research and Technology Center has a business recovery center on the first floor in Suite 119. And also there is a disaster loan outreach center at the Kahului Public Library. And that is relatively new, opened up recently. And then, of course, we have the Business Resource Assessment Center also at the Maui Research and Technology Center. That's on the second floor Suite 202. So these are all the different locations, the different things that the SBA is doing to assist. And I'll share with your listeners a little bit about the BRAC, the Business Resource Assessment Center. The Maui Chamber of Commerce has a presence in the BRAC. This is the first time the SBA has ever tried anything like this. So in addition to the people that are on the ground from the disaster branch of the SBA, we have all the local resource partners that could assist any small business, whether or not they've been impacted by the disaster in the BRAC. So we have Operation Hope, based out of Atlanta, Georgia, that is assisting with financial literacy. We have SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, and they are assisting in mentoring small businesses through their recovery. We have the Veteran Business Outreach Center represented with a table in the BRAC. This is an amazing agency that supports transitioning service members as well as veterans and their families that are interested in either starting a business or, switching lanes on their business or continuing to grow their business. We also have a table for the Small Business Administration with some small business resource guides on it. We also have the Women's Business Center located in Honolulu, and the Enterprising Women of Color are on a table. And last but not least, we have the Maui Small Business Development Center. They're an amazing resource for assisting businesses in all aspects, but particularly being very creative in assisting them through this disaster.
They have done amazing work and continue to do amazing work. And as you point out, tremendous business research, helping people, look up information for their business plans, helping people look up information to just even decide if they're going to move forward with the business and get some stats and help them flush out their ideas. We were talking about that with David of MEO earlier. Yeah, tremendous services out across the island. So exciting to hear all the different places that people can access all these SBA resources. And, great to get an update on the loans, too. Do you know about do you have any data on the equipment loans as well?
No, I haven't seen any data on that, and I'm not sure if they're breaking out the equipment loans separate from the economic injury disaster loans. I can check on that. Another point, another point, Pam, you brought up is excellent. The Maui Small Business Development Center does an amazing job putting together the Maui data book. And so anything that you would like to know, as Pam indicated, in terms of stats, any information you're looking at that would help you build a stronger business plan, the Small Business Development Center has the data book. They also have access to something called IBIS World, and that was something else Pam mentioned. IBIS World is a very powerful industry-based research tool, and no matter what you're thinking of doing, whatever industry you might be considering as something that you'd like to get started in as a small business, you can talk with someone at the Small Business Development Center, and they would be happy to run an industry report. The industry report has the current state, future state, has operating ratios in it, a lot of great information that will help you really fine-tune that business plan and make sure that you've got everything in there that can help you be successful as you launch or grow a business.
Yeah, it's tremendous resources. And of course, all of this is so important as you're starting a business and growing a business. You know, a lot of people think sometimes once they have that business plan that, well, we've got the plan and we're going to keep track. But you need to always go back and keep revisiting your business plan. Keep looking. You can see You have things like COVID or the wildfires that change your business significantly, and you need to keep going back and looking at that plan and making changes and looking at new markets and looking at how you can pivot and how you can sustain going forward. And they are a tremendous resource out there. And by the way, I want to mention that the services are free, like FREE.
Yes.
So use them.
Yes.
Use them.
The SBA, yes, the SBA funds most of the resource partners that are in the room at the BRAC. And the BRAC is pretty interesting. It's set up as a trade show format. So there might be somebody at a table in there for a particular resource or not. Either way, the tables are stocked with information about the resources and services that each of those service providers has to offer. The BRAC is also staffed by a concierge. So whenever you enter the BRAC, you're greeted by the concierge. Very minimal information is requested. So the concierge will ask your name, your business name, your telephone number, and your email. And then the concierge will personally escort you from table to table, explaining what each of those resource partners can do to assist you with your business. And as Pam said, there is no charge for this. You can pick up literature. We have QR codes on some of the tables. And this BRAC is not just for businesses that have been impacted by the disaster. This is open to the general public. Even if you just have a thought of an idea for a business that you'd like to explore, you might want to come down to the BRAC at the Maui Research and Technology Center and see what kind of information you could pick up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hazel, you mentioned that on the idle loans for businesses, there is still more time. We're looking at May 10th, 2024. Some of the businesses that we've been talking to have applied. They've been turned down. I know that there is, ways for them to be reconsidered. Can you talk a little bit about, we're really trying to encourage them to really look at this as, to apply for these idle loans, even if they have another idle loan, as an insurance policy, as a policy that can help them bridge lending and have finances to help them as we continue to try and keep businesses afloat, all those businesses directly or indirectly impacted by the wildfires, stay afloat until our economy recovers. So could you talk about two things, maybe for those who already have an idle loan, how they can, maybe look at some reconsideration of an existing loan, and for those who've been turned down, how many times they can reapply, and if you have any sense of what kind of additional information is helpful. Sometimes what we're hearing is the lenders, as they're making the review, the loan officers are not seeing the ability to repay. So if you can kind of talk about those two things on how people can continue to pursue these loans if they really need them.
Sure, Pam. There is a process for reconsideration. All of these loans are being managed through a system that the disaster group has set up. And your reconsideration, you can have, I believe, 6 months to ask for reconsideration once you have been denied. And the reasons for denial are varied. Some of them can be inability to repay. Some of them can be the documentation wasn't completed and the loan specialist couldn't make a determination. Generally, you'll be notified by mail. Also, the SBA will try to call you. So we have had circumstances where the SBA has tried to reach a loan applicant multiple times, and they were not able to connect because the loan applicant didn't recognize the number and pick up the phone. So if you if you can, you want to make sure that you pick up the calls that you get. As far as taking the loan, if you are approved for the loan, you have up to 6 months to decide whether or not you want the loan, which is why Pam is saying that we're all encouraging everyone to apply for these loans. Even if you think you have maybe insurance funding or something coming in, you can always turn down this loan. There's also activity going on right now to figure out, because of the timeline of the Maui disasters, the disbursements are not going to line up necessarily with your ability to be able to begin using that money. So what I mean by that is you may get the loan disbursement, but then you still can't get a building permit or you can't move forward. So the SBA is looking, we're looking at that to try to figure out how to think that better, because that is going to be a problem. I would say to your listeners, if you have been denied, please don't accept that as final. Either get back into my SBA portal and see what you can do in terms of requesting reconsideration, or if you can, come down to one of the business recovery centers and talk with someone there, and that would be the Lahaina Civic Center, or come down to Suite 119 in the Maui Research and Tech Center and sit with the folks there and get their opinion.
I think that's excellent, Hazel. And again, what we're trying to do is give people as much flexibility as possible during this time, because for many, there's so much that so many people are dealing with right now. Some businesses, as you say, they're still assessing what the loss is, and so that at a time helps them, more accurately apply or look at what they need to apply for. In other cases, people are so busy dealing with so many losses in areas of their life that they're not ready to apply, so they still have more time. And for those that have been ready or struggling to get their business back up and running, you still got time if you were turned down to continue to apply. So, or ask for reconsideration or learn more. I totally hear you. People don't know these random numbers. and people are so sick of getting robocalls that
I know
that people don't pick up numbers they don't know. So, but if you've been applying for an SBA loan, this is an opportunity you definitely don't want to miss. And the other thing is that you can keep checking on your loan. So check on your loan through the portal as well.
Yes.
And that way you can be kept up to date, and don't be shy about calling in as well. If they're calling at a time when you can't take that call or you're doing other things, we understand. Everybody's crazy busy. But you can also call in. Now, Hazel, go ahead.
Plus, Pam, you also have the Disaster Loan Outreach Center that opened up at the Kahului Library. That's another good place to go. Make sure you take, if you got a denial, make sure you take the letter with you. And that should also have the loan application number on it so that they can be sure to help you quicker.
Yeah. And that loan application number is really very helpful for the streamline thing. So, carry that and put a piece of paper in your pocket or your purse. Take that with you. And it's just going to be very helpful as we go through this. Because as you shared with me, as we're trying to help people, that's something that's desperately needed. But we still have a few minutes, and I know that you are involved with, and we are so excited that the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is coming to Maui next month. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, this is so exciting, Pam, because this is a traveling 3/4 replica of the actual monument in Washington, D.C. And it only makes a few stops on its tour across the country. So I was so excited to see that for 2024, it's making the first 2 stops ever in Hawaii. So it actually arrived yesterday in Hilo, and the memorial is part of a huge truck-hauled rig, and it was escorted through the streets of Hilo by over 200 veteran motorcyclists. Today's the day the volunteers are assembling it, and then it'll be open to the public 24 hours a day from January 24th to the 28th. And then its next stop, Maui. It arrives in Maui on the 7th of February. The setup day will be the 8th, and the monument will be open to the public from February 9th through the 13th. And the thing that's amazing about this is part of the rig transforms into an educational center about the monument, and it is also textured so that just as you do in Washington, D.C., you can do rubbings over the names of those that are on the wall. And the 24-hour opening is for the public and also veterans who want to come in and look at this memorial in the quiet of the evening and reflect on who they know that's on the wall. So this is so exciting.
It really is, and it's free. It's free to come in. You can see it. You can see it any hour of the day. There will be people there watching over it and protecting it. But it is such a great thing, and I know there was an astronomical cost to bring this memorial to Hawaii, and we're so appreciative. I am getting the word, Hazel, that we have to say goodbye. So I want to say aloha and mahalo for all of the great information you shared at the moment. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing the SBA programs with everyone. And everyone, I just want to say mahalo for listening in to Business Matters. We hope you'll join us again next week, Tuesday. It's something that we at the Maui Chamber of Commerce enjoyed doing to help get important information out to our community, to all of you. And so we just want to wish you a wonderful week. Blessings and aloha. And we hope to have you join us again next Tuesday. Ahui ho.